the stream, I guess. That's an enthusiastic way to go about this whole thing. Hey look, he has an auction house on his mount. I wish I had one of those. How much money have I made in the past couple of days? Most profitable thing I've sold is the girdle of golem strength. Really? Someone bought that for 2,000 gold? Whoa. Hello, Kakio. Mighty fine day to be working on videos, wouldn't you agree? Okay, so usually I have like a game plan when it comes to the stream about something to do. Since I only stream for like 2 hours, I don't really have any plans today though. And I can't do anything that requires too much of my brain power because I can't talk and think at the same time. Because right now I'm trying to just look at the prices of one mat and I keep forgetting what I'm doing. BFA mats. It is one specific type of mat. Is it anchor's weed? Yeah, I think this is what it was. The market value is usually 188 gold pieces. And I currently have a couple in the auction house for 144. Huh, that's 40 gold below market value. I already bought a whole bunch yesterday though. For way more than that, unfortunately. What level is this guy at? 118? He's barely 118. I only have 2 more levels before he's max. You know what? I might just max him out today. That sounds like a good game plan. Let's see. Hello. Mind if I ask what classic server you're going to be playing on? I have decided that I will pick a server on the day of classic based on which one is not high quality, not high population. And I will definitely not play on a PvP server. So basically a PvE server. Or maybe even an RP server. Maybe I'll play on the Blood Cell Buccaneers as a female warlock. No, I'm not gonna do that. ASMR leveling? That sounds like a good idea. You know, for now, I haven't actually opened up WoW yet. I mean, I have. I was on WoW all morning. But that was for work. I haven't actually opened up WoW to actually, you know, do stuff for my characters all today. Things that I actually want to do. Because you see, I'm making a video right now about the top 10 race class combinations for classic WoW. So I need a whole bunch of footage because, like, you know, I'm talking about human warriors and I don't got a human warrior. Or like gnome warlocks. It's like I don't think I have a single gnome, let alone a gnome warlock. So for those kinds of things, I have to hop onto the PTR and just like create a whole bunch of brand new characters. And the PTR for some reason doesn't allow you to create pre-made like max level characters. So I have to just make a whole bunch of class trial characters, and you can only make 5 class trial characters in an hour. So I had to do a couple of them on level 1 characters, and then fucking gnomes. They have this thing where their starting zone, you have to do a small quest chain in order to get out of it. And then it's like, man, I need footage of this warlock's pet. And you don't get your first pet to level 5. And it's like, I don't want to level to 5. I'm just going to wait toward tomorrow in order to get, you know, the class trial available again. Because I don't have any room on this server, like on the real WoW. I'm character capped. I have all 50 characters already made. I'd have to delete stuff to get all that footage. Alternatively, I just don't need the footage. I can just use something else. It's just this is a pretty easy way to get some B-roll footage in the background. Okay, so I just got a Silas Potion of Prosperity. Silas Potion of Prosperity. That's really good. I rarely ever get that. I kind of want to hop back over to my Demon Hunter real quick and buy that Anchor Weed that was on sale, so I can create some flasks. I'm gonna do that real quick. Because it was 40 gold below market value. That's really good. Although there's still 100 gold above the market value from before the patch came out, so it's still kind of expensive. Are you going to release a top 10 video? Yeah, I have 3 videos planned. I have 3 videos... Actually, correction. So, I have the scripts for 5 or 6 videos. Videos, top 10s. 1. But where? 2. 3. 4. Yeah, 5. So I have 5 scripts for top 10 videos that are completely done. Like, they're good to go. I gave 2 of them to Grim to edit. So those will come out within the next couple of months, probably. And then the other 3 I are going to work on myself. But 2 of them are Classic WoW related, and like, they would work best before Classic WoW comes out. Because one of them is, you know, top 10 race class combos. I want to try to get that one out by tomorrow. Before Classic WoW comes out, so that you know which are the best race class combos. Doesn't really seem like a good video to come out, you know, once it's already started and everyone's already picked their race and shit. And the other one is like top 10 trinkets to grab while leveling. And that one I was gonna put out the day Classic WoW launch because it's not as big of a priority. Damn, 30,000 gold? That's so much. Oh, but I can make all that gold back with some good procs. Hey boy, how's the new Infernal Mini video thing, Hero? Does it look all good? What Infernal Mini thing? What are you talking about? Did you send me something new today? I've been grinding World Quest for the last 2 weeks to get Nightfall and Rep, even at 120 of the grind for like races. Yeah, the grind is a lot easier if you do it gradually over time during the expansion. Going back and doing it is kind of a chore. I'd agree. I put a mana potion on the AH for 1 million gold. It did not sell. My realm sucked. Okay. PvP servers are going to be ridiculous, but I'm doing it anyway. Yeah, I'm not going to play in a PvP server. You see, here's this thing about PvP servers that I usually tell people about, and they just, you know, kind of brush it off. Actually, you know what? That's kind of a downer thing to talk about. Never mind. I just don't like them. So, PvP servers are not even an option. Okay, what do I have these for? Do I have enough? Hello, Dan D. Veeries. I think that's Elfie, right? Thanks for the 5 quid. 5 euros, I mean. I don't know why I said quid. Hey, Hero, how are you? Greetings from Elfie. I knew it was Elfie.
Hey, Hero, how are you?
Can't say I didn't know. Okay, so I have 68 of these. And I have 34 of these. And these ones sell for a little bit more. They both require different mats. You know what? I have more of the other ones, and they both sell at about the same rate. So I'll try making 10 of these. 10 of the agility flask and see if I get any good procs. Okay, I got a 3 proc. Nothing too great. Let me try making 10 endless flasks. A 2 proc. Oh god, those are terrible procs. A 2 proc and a 2 proc. Okay, that's not good. Okay, and I guess I'll use the rest on my greater flasks. on more agility flasks since those had better procs. Damn it, only 2 procs. That's terrible. Ugh. I should probably go buy some more Zenithid. Let's see, if I need 20 of them, and I have 5 of these, what is 90 divided by 5? 90 divided by 5 is 18, so I would need enough for 17 more of these. So 17 times 20 is equal to 340. I would need 340 more Zenitide, whatever it's called. But I only have 9 minutes left on this flask, and I think it saves the duration if you log out with it. So I need to buy 340 more of this herb. The herb is usually the herb is usually sold for around market value. As long as it's not too much above market value, I should still be able to make a profit on it if I just buy them. It really all depends on how much they're selling for right now. Zenithid. Okay, they're below market value. They're really below market value. Oh, this is perfect. Okay, so I can just buy 2 stacks of these and satisfy the 340 I need. No problem. Okay, and then let's send them over. And I should be able to do this before my flask duration ends in the next 7 minutes. Zenithid, forgot the N, whatever. How can here even calculate? I thought I didn't like math. Oh, I have a calculator next to my desk. You think I do this in my head? Are you crazy? I just have like a really, like cheap little calculator, nothing fancy. And I use that thing surprisingly all the time. It's so much more convenient than like opening up a calculator. Oops, fuck, forgot. Okay, so it does save the duration of the Silas potion when you log out. That's good to know. Okay, I was getting more agility procs today, so maybe I should make more agility flasks, even though the intellect flasks are more like of a guaranteed sell thing. Here, let me make this window a little bit smaller so I can see the chat a little bit better. Okay, so I should have enough to make all of these. You know what? I'll make 5 of these, 5 intellect flasks. See if I get any good procs. Not a single proc. Oh my god. Just 1 double. Oh shit, that's terrible. Okay, and then the rest into agility flasks. Oh, come on. What's with these no procs? Oh, a 4 proc. That's decent. I'd much rather have a bunch of double procs to accompany that. Okay, 2 4 procs. Yeah, looks like agility flasks are pretty lucky today. Alright. And let's send all these flasks off. I don't think I'm actually going to put them on the auction house quite yet, because I already have some on the auction house. I just had to make them while I had the Silas potion up and ready to go. Okay, let's move these down here. I always like to keep around 6 intellect flasks on myself, just in case. Okay, now that I have that out of the way, what was I going to do on this character? I don't remember. Oh no, Grim is here. Is Grim here? What did he say? Hello, chat and the dual logs. Hey, how did you know I was dual logs? Also, I sent you the thing here. I'm going to upload the background so you can use it. Zenithid. Alright. Hey, here, what class are you going to be playing for Classic? I have no idea. I still need to pick one. So I'm uploading the fixed background to send to you. Okay. What did you send to me? I don't know. I can't do crab till lunch today. I'm going to buy a sub like the day before. SCU fans are going to be playing on Golgamech. What's the name of the streamer server? Maybe I'll play on that. Maybe if I send Asmongold a whole bunch of gold, he'll love me. That's why people send him money, right? You know, you can buy my love for much less gold than it would be for Asmongold to read your name on stream. Just saying. You can proc if you make potions? Yeah, but flasks are better. I can make potions too. I guess I should make some since I have all of these materials for them. Not really. I would... Like, the Zenithid, it's better spent if I just use the materials to make flasks. I can make potions too. You know, while I have the buff, I should probably restock on the potions I use, since I only have 4 left. So I'll just use up the rest of my Zenithid to restock my battle potions. Ooh, a 5 proc. I would much rather have had that as a flask. You know, sometimes you can get procs with your flasks for like up to 18. So that's why it's like worth it, you know. If you have a limited quantity of herbs and everything, you really want to put them into flasks, since with the procs, you have a chance of procking like an 18, and an 18 is just going to give you much more bang for your buck than procking an 18 of a potion. Of course, you know, if you have lots of materials and you're trying to diversify how you sell things, you want to sell both. I usually just sell flasks though, because I don't have all the free time in the world like I used to back when I used to take this a lot more seriously. What classic comes out? Friend are going to try. Do you know what classic would be best for a new player? Wait, do you know what classic would be best for a new player? Played before, but he has not. I'm actually going to be making a video about that kind of stuff, so you can just watch that when it comes out either tomorrow or on Sunday or whenever I finish it. The best race class combos. Although, you know, a good class for a beginner, Hunter probably. That's like the easiest class to play. That's also decent. Wow, now I'm amazed. Love your videos. Keep up the great work. Why, thank you. How much time do you spend on farming mats? Is it hours? I spend 0 time farming mats. Absolutely none at all. Farming, that's only what plebeians do. I'm no plebeian. I use my 200 IQ in order to make my gold. Can you show us your alts across all realms that you play on? I mean, it's a lot. Alright, I'm off to edit. Gonna stream it for like all of 1 people. Okay, Fell Plague. I should warn you though, you know, if you're going to stream, if you're going to start streaming on your channel, if you want people to get used to watching you stream, you probably shouldn't stream editing, because that's not a very fun thing to watch. Of course, I've told you this already. I don't really understand your thought process when it comes to anything you do on your channel. It just all seems to be whatever you feel like, and you don't have any intentions of taking it seriously. So, you know, if that is your thought process for it, then yeah, I guess do whatever you want. That's the fun thing about it. That's why I enjoy the Azeroth Weather channel a lot, because I can basically do whatever I want without having to think about, you know, will people watch it or not, because I don't care if people watch it, because none of the videos are monetized and none of it matters, and it's kind of a freeing feeling to just kind of do whatever you want without having to worry about metrics or marketing. Torin is the obvious hour. Better than streaming nothing? I mean, no. Not really. The freeing thing is a much better explanation, I think. Because then that comes to like a whole other thing about, you know, YouTube marketing and stuff. which goes completely against what I was just talking about. You know, if you do care about that kind of stuff, there's just a lot more you have to do. I don't really want to talk about it, though. I came over here to go do Najdatar stuff. And I keep forgetting what I'm doing because you guys keep distracting me. Would you eat a hamburger if you knew it came from a Tauren? Hell yeah. I bet it would be delicious. I can't have hamburgers, though. Fel isn't doing it for sub. He's doing it for himself and his mother. Yeah, you see, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And in fact, it is commendable. You know, I just automatically think of the best way to optimize all of these things. And I just gotta tell myself, no, don't do that. Not everything needs to be optimized for success. You know, you could be like Kakio and, you know how to optimize everything and then completely do the opposite. Because you don't want to be seen as someone who optimizes these kinds of things. Which is another really unique mindset to have. Very unique. It is the most unique. Unique is the right word for it. I totally wouldn't use any other word. Remember Rex, the Dual Logs? I should probably stream on the Dual Logs channel too on my stream days, except I am busy this week. I got shit to do. I have 2 top 10 videos I need to get ready by next week. Infernal test video. Oh, you sent that when I was... Yeah, I don't really check my Discord when I'm streaming, Fel. I'll have to watch that later. Kakio is a babe. Kakio, he has a very unique mindset, that's for sure. One of the most unique ones I've ever seen. It's so unique that, you know, if I were to make a top 10 mindsets video of people who have very unique ways about going about things, Kakio would definitely make a very top spot on such a list if it were to exist. Baked potato? What? Can I make that? I do kind of want the rank 3 recipe of it, even if I'll never actually make it. So I need rubbery flanks. And how many do I need to make? It's usually 10, right? Yeah. I don't have the correct Zandalari cooking. You know what? I don't care. I'll deal with that later. Let's go. Waiting for the new video. Hey, a video came out like 2 days ago. I usually make 1 video a week. I could definitely make more than 1 video a week. I just, you know, if I make people get used to 1 video a week, then I don't have to rush myself and make more. It's a good strategy. Not a good one for growth, but you know, I'm fine with mediocre growth instead. Oh, I gotta turn this on. I noticed that you haven't finished Vol'dun. Why is that? Because this character was created brand new 6 months ago. I haven't completed any of the zones on this character. Except for the ones I needed to in order to get Pathfinder, since I didn't have them on my main character. Collect... Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Does anyone else happen to know what realm Heroic X is rolling on Classic? Nah. Nah, I have no idea. If he keeps ignoring your question, maybe stop asking. What question did he ask? I'm bored. I know. Here said he doesn't know what class he shall play. Let's see. What other questions were you asking? Please show us the alts. Please show us your alts. Please show us the alts. I wouldn't mind showing alts. I don't know if anyone would want to see them, though. since I have a lot of them. Once in a Q&A, you said stream was exhausting because you need to use a fake voice. Do you really use a fake voice on your channel? Yeah, of course I do. All streamers do. In fact, I was watching a stream yesterday from a YouTuber I like, and I was like, ooh, I've never actually seen him stream before. And then after watching the stream for a couple of minutes, I turned it off. And I was like, it's very obvious he doesn't stream often. Because he had a really like monotone voice. And he wasn't interacting with chat very much. You know, I'm sure it was fine. It was more of like, he wasn't using his YouTuber voice. It sounded like a normal speaking voice, which doesn't sound very good. I'm just not used to it. It just shows that he was new to it. Very amateurish stuff to use your normal voice in a stream. Hey here, I thought I'd drop by. I'm taking a break from reading Apotheosis to make some breakfast. I'm up to 200 and started last night. What's Apotheosis? Is that the one with the trap you were talking about? Because that definitely interested me. Fuck, I knew there was something I was gonna do. I forgot to set up my goddamn traits and my talents. Because I'm not optimized for DPS right now. My voice sounds bad anyway. Here, do you take some voice during your D&D? Do you make fake voices for your D&D games? Yeah, I sure do. Hira said he doesn't answer the question, just keep posting until he does. You don't want to spam it 10 times in a row, but post it until the chat scrolls up. Yeah, I would definitely recommend you just keep reposting your question if I missed it. Especially if I'm missing like everyone else's questions too. There's a good chance I just went on a tangent about something and then forgot. Forgot to read chat. What's up? Never actually seen you in stream before. Nice to see you. Well, hello, James Samp 1234. I'm sure there's a story behind that name. Hey man, do you sell your used soap by any chance? Only in the black market. Don't forget to set up your traits and talents. I know, right? You know, before I started doing YouTube, I used to be really interested in talking to new people. You know, because I used to have this opinion that everyone has their own story. And if you talk to people, you can learn, you know, live 1,000 different lifetimes. If you hear all of their different unique experiences about how they've gone through life. And it was always fun learning new things about new people. And then with YouTube, you know, I have all of this opportunity to learn so many new things about so many different people. And it's to the point where it's kind of exhausting. There's just too much. And people will, you know, tell you all of this stuff whether you want them to or not. And it just kind of lost some of its grandeur. To the point where I don't even really talk to people anymore. Because I have so many people who want to talk to me. I don't really need to make the effort to engage in conversations like I used to. And it's kind of not good. I really need to get out of that habit. Okay, so for the person who asked, wait, say my name, I dare you, Vakadim, I can say it, no problem. Vakadin Stan Unjink, nailed it. No, there's a reverse soul in Land 2. Apotheos is another one. I don't really care about the characters, which is why I haven't posted anything from it, but it's still okay. Oh. Man, you read a lot of manga. Okay, so for the person who asked for all my alts, I have 50 of them. So let's start with the servers that have the least amount. And I can tell you all about my characters. So on Dalaran, I have this character called Bukakio. For those of you who've been around the channel for a few years and are fans of Kakio, you may recognize this character as the one from the Tri-Iron Man series, which is why he's naked. If you want to learn the history of Bukakio, you should watch the Tri-Iron Man series on Kakio's channel. Now let's go over to Blackrock. On Blackrock, this is my character called Hiru's Pet Bat. This was the server I used in order to host pet battle tournaments. I quit doing them after my stress disorder made it hard for me to stream, because it would start closing up my throat after a while. So I had to just stop doing the pet streams. And there was low participation anyway, so I don't think anyone misses those. And then on Blade Fist, I have two characters. I'm Too Cool For You and Juggernaut. I made this character for How to Kill Hogger video a few years ago. When I made the video, people just called it a ripoff of one of Krendor's series. And after the fact, I was like, damn it, you're right. This is basically a ripoff of one of WoW Krendor's Machinima series. So I haven't made any other episodes of it. And then this guy, I don't know what the hell he's for. I think I made him for footage or something. Stress, hope you're okay. I manage. Now let's go on to Moonguard. On Moonguard, I have All Fiction. Man, I love this name. I should probably use it. I forgot why I made this character. And then I have Yari Sana. This is probably one of the oldest characters I own. Here, let me log on to it real quick so I can show you a little nugget of history in her bags. Actually, I have two rare items on her. Goldshire Inn. Yes, you have noticed something about these characters on Moonguard. I used to do this thing very frequently in streams, where I would go onto Moonguard and I wouldn't say troll RPers, since I didn't go around and be actively disruptive, but I would definitely participate in a troll-like RP, where I like to RP as a death cult leader. So I run around the RP inn and, you know, just ask people if they want to help, if they all want to go commit suicide to the Dark Lord. Anyways, this was the main character I used on it. I've had this character forever. I've had this character so long that I still have the Celestial Steed mount in my bags. So if you guys know the history of mounts, if you've watched the history of mount video I have on the channel, you'll understand how old this character is. I also have the Gordok Ogre Disguise Kit. I didn't get this myself. A fan just gave it to me and I thought it was cool. Okay. Man, there is always something going on in here. Using the wrong pronoun. What the fuck are they doing? This server is great. And I think it was on this character that I met Fell Plague for the first time. And then here is Angsty. I created it just so I'd have a character who can run around faster for an RP event. So I don't really need those characters. Now, Terralion, my next character. This is the realm I currently play on. So this is my current main. I created this character 6 months ago when our guild moved and merged with another guild. It's pretty great. We only raid 2 hours a day instead of the normal 3 hours. And we do it 2 days a week, and I love those hours. I like raiding, but I don't like hardcore raiding. And the group we have is super solid. We're currently working on Heroic Ajara, which I think is pretty good considering just how little we actually raid. Like 4 hours a week is a tiny amount of time, you know, to full clear and then start progressing on a boss. This is just my banker tune. It's, you know, Demon Hunters are the highest level ones you can make. And I use this character for leveling. You know, I thought, hey, I wanted a Zandalari Druid. I'm going to start leveling one, and it has appeared in a couple of streams during my leveling streams. Next, we'll go on to Garona. Or talk to Darks about it. This was when my little brother used to play on my account. These are all his characters. That's all it is. This is a pretty high level druid. He didn't like playing on my servers for some reason, so he just picked a server at random and started making characters on it. Okay. This was like 10 years ago, though, or something. Next, I think this is just another one where my little brother just made characters on it. Yep. This is just another server filled with characters that he made when he was little. Now we'll go on to Storm Scale. My little brother is 19 years old now. Those were like back when he was, I don't know, 12 or 13. Maybe even younger than that. This was my old main server. This was my main character until 6 months ago when I created the new one on Terralion. And this was my alchemy alt. This was also my alchemy alt. This one I also had alchemy on. I used this one for Q&A leveling, so he's in a lot of videos. And this was my banker tune. Shindorai. Dranene. Now we'll go on to the Scarlet Crusade. This is the server I used for Iron Man characters. So these are all Iron Man characters. This is the only Iron Man character I have who is still live. Like, this character has not died one time yet. All of the gear she has on her is, legal to the Iron Man. If I ever wanted to continue the Iron Man challenge, I could just hop on this character and I have a level 42 hunter to go do stuff on. This character failed, and I use him for footage whenever I need a low-level rogue. This was my first ever Iron Man character, who's failed, and I use it whenever I need low-level Alliance footage sometimes. Another one who failed, I use it for low-level Hunter footage. Another failure, low-level Warrior footage. I don't think I ever tried making Iron Man. I think I just created this one because I need footage of the Gilnean starting zone. I'm pretty sure he's still in the Gilnean starting zone, just in case I need footage of the zone for some reason, which has popped up on occasion. Now we'll go on to Maduron. This server is also Iron Man stuff. So Polonius was the main character in my short-lived series, The Big Game Hunter. All Fiction was the character I used for the Lord of the Rings challenge, which I failed. Dave Botch was an Iron Man, who, funny enough, died to fall damage as a monk. If I had just made him a panda, he'd probably still be alive. And I got him to level 100 during the Legion invasions, which explains his armor choices. I use this one. I think he's an Iron Man too. Yeah, I think he's a live Iron Man. I'm not sure if he's died or not. I'd have to go in and check. Evil Dave, I made this one for Death Knight footage. This is another live Iron Man. He's kind of low level though. And I already explained Polonius. And then we have Dawnbringer. This was my original server. The one with 13 characters on it. So, Huruma Red, this was the first character I ever made. He started off as a Tauren hunter, though. Currently, I just use him for engineering. Like, I can hop on him to create his engineering cooldown, which I should probably do while I'm talking about him. Because I can create 2 pets, which I can learn, and then sell cross-server. So he still does have use to my main server through the fact that you can cage pets cross-server. What helmet is that? It's the one you buy from the cash shop. There's only 3 transmog pieces they ever sold on the cash shop, and I own all of them. And I use them whenever I can because they look pretty cool. And also because I know it riles people up. People really hate the cash shop. So I make sure to buy everything I can from it out of spite because I think it's funny. Okay, there it is. You see, I just hop on him, create a Jard's peculiar energy source once per day until I have 15 of them. I have 15 of them. Which means I can make something with it. I can make either Perry or the Rascal Bot, except I need Living Steel. I have another character who I have a bunch of Living Steel on, so I could totally make one of those right now. And then they sell for a cool 15k. It takes like a second to log on to the character. And then this is my rogue. I created this rogue back in Wrath of the Lich King, He has both of the twin blades of Azeroth, and I got those before you could get a transmog thing for him. And whenever I need rogue footage, this guy's usually in like 99% of them. He's currently at a farm. I send you flying. I use this guy whenever I want to do battlegrounds and just thunderclap people off the sides of cliffs. It doesn't work though at low levels. I need to get to max level and then gear him out. This guy is in like 90% of my footage. It's my main mage I use, because mages are very good for getting footage as they can just teleport everywhere. And this is the highest level mage I have. I don't use this guy. I created him because I was going to level... I thought it would be faster to level up a demon hunter to max level if I wanted to do alliance stuff, because this is a night elf demon hunter. And I got to 106 before I got bored and stopped leveling him, which I think I did in a day. This is my highest level alliance character. If I need alliance footage, I usually hop on this guy. And the reason I started making the demon hunter is because if I'm going to get alliance footage, I think it would be easier to get footage if they were a demon hunter, because they're faster than a death knight who's slow as hell. And then this is my... Oh, this used to be my highest level alliance character. It used to be a blood elf when I first created it. This is like this was the first ever paladin I created. And then back when Warlords of Draenor launched, I had actually promised to do arenas with Hazelnutty Games. That was so long ago. That was back when, before she was as big as she is now. Crazy long ass time ago. We were actually had plans to do arenas together, and we were gonna make videos about it. And I was like, hey, I'll just transfer my paladin over to Alliance. And so that's why I created this character. I mean, I transferred it to Alliance and made it a human. But that never really ended up happening because I got really busy with other stuff, making videos. I didn't really have enough time to push arena ratings. And Hazel got super into it, though. She actually, got super into PvP during that expansion. With who? Hazelnutty Games. Just look her up. She's a big WoW YouTuber now. I had this plans, back when she was still a small WoW YouTuber, though. This used to be my main priest that I played on all the time. This is my original Disc Priest. And then I moved to a new server during Warlords of Draenor at the end of MOP, and so I stopped playing it, so all his gear is still Siege of Orgrimmar MOP gear. This is my Tauren warrior, who appears in basically any footage in which I need warrior footage for. He's also the main character actor for the Dave and Devbot series. The Dark Magician. This is the one I'm trying to level up, so I have an Alliance mage for footage. And I was super surprised no one had taken the Dark Magician name yet. It's just straight up Dark Magician, no misspellings or anything, no special characters. That was great. I need to make this for Classic WoW. And then this is my highest level Warlock. I actually created this character in a leveling contest with one of my friends back in Cataclysm. They're like, let's see who can level a Warlock to max level the fastest. And I think I lost by a day or something because she just played nonstop and I had work and she didn't. So now if I ever need, Warlock footage, I usually just hop on this character and do it. She's also in a lot of my pet battle videos because I used to do the pet battles on a character, because every time you win a PvP pet battle, you get experience to level up. And I leveled this character from 90 to 100 during Warlords of Draenor. By just doing PvP pet battles. So she's in a ton of my pet battle videos. And then this was my highest level druid, who I played a ton in Cataclysm. And I had done the most amount of arena play on this character, despite the fact that my main was also a Disc Priest back then. But I played a ton on this character in PvP, and that was some of the most fun I've ever had playing the game was doing twos with this character and my Warlock Arena partner. Druids and PvP, healing druids and PvP are so much fun that I kind of don't even want to try as a Disc Priest. And then this was my second hunter I made back in Cataclysm, who I also raided on. Because, like, my main was the hunter back then. But I raided so much, I would sometimes help out my friend's guild, that I created a second hunter. You know, just in case they needed me to fill in. I thought, hey, I could fill in on my second hunter, who I'll also gear out in raid gear. But is also not locked to any instances. So that's why I had a second hunter, and I never leveled him past, you know, the Cataclysm point of 85. Okay. So, yeah, Dawnbringer was my first server. Stormscale was my second main server, which I was on for, like, 5 years. Until this year. And then my new main server is Terralion. Is Druid really that good in PvP? I don't know if they're that good, but they're really fun. Like, the most fun I've ever had playing the game was doing Druid PvP in arenas. Okay. Oh, I was going to hop on Terralion. So that's all 50 of my characters. Now let's go do some dailies, some fun stuff. I started serious PvP as a Resto Druid and Kata as well. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So many alts, and they all have their own little story. Here, why would you even switch servers? Is it for the AH pricings? I switched servers because our guild joined a new guild. Like, the few people we had left, because we weren't able to fill up a raid team, we just merged with another server. Another guild who was having the same problems, and it worked. Except their guild had much more members than ours. Like, we had maybe 5 people who were still raiding consistently. And they had like 15. So it was obvious for us 5 to move over to this server rather than those 15 to move over to our server. And so that's what we did. And I am enjoying it so far. Did I change out my talents? I did. I did change out my talents. Did I change out my necklace? You have a chance to gain intellect. None of the other ones give me any damage boosts. Yeah, we're good. Welcome, landlubbers. It appears you haven't played this game much. JK. How do you make gold? I do it very casually. I usually just sell pets or flasks. You know, Hazel made her 5 million golds by selling, like, enchanting materials. So, I've been looking into that market. I don't know how well it's going, though. Because I just started, like, last week. Kata was the best PV expansion as well, in my opinion. I had a lot of fun in Cataclysm. I really liked early Cataclysm, when 40% of a Shadow Priest's damage came from their 2 dots. Or 3 dots, I guess, back then. That was a lot of fun. Except reinforced cache. Is it? Oh, it's up here. You know, one of the reasons people didn't like Vashir, it wasn't because it was underwater. Like, sure, that was a pain in the ass. But the big reason people didn't like Vashir was because of, like, all of the cave systems and how everything was 3D, where an objective would tell you to go somewhere and you'd go there and be like, shit, where the hell is it at? You know, is it underneath inside a fucking secret cave? Is it up here? This is what people didn't like about Vashir, was the 3D thing meant it was harder to find things. On a 2D plane, you know, if something points to something on the map, you can find it almost instantly. But if it's in 3D, you have a much wider range to look for on the minimap. So, when they created Najdatar, you know, they didn't make it an underwater zone like they really should have. So people were happy about that, but they still gave it the 3D problems for some reason. It's nowhere near as bad as Vashir, but it still exists. And it's just like, why? You guys know what the problem was. Why did you recreate it? I guess I didn't recreate it exactly. It's much minor scale than what it was in Vashj'ir. But they seem to have, like, you know, sometimes when Blizzard has an idea about these kinds of things, they think, man, that's so cool. What if we just do this for everything? So, like, everything took place in a hard-to-find cave in Vashj'ir. And this one, it's much more mild. There are a couple of hard-to-find caves at first, but there's not a lot. In Vashj'ir, it was like literally everything was hidden because they thought it was cool. It kind of reminds me of, like, the Queen Azshara fight. So Azshara has line of sight mechanics. You know, line of sight mechanics aren't exactly a new thing in raids. But the massive amount of line of sight mechanics that are in Azshara, it's like, oh my god, why do they make this mistake where they have an idea for something and they think it's gold, so they just do it all the time. There are so many line of sight mechanics in Azshara. And I don't know why they thought that was a good idea. Azshara has got to be like one of the worst final bosses they've made in a while. Which is so disappointing because it's like such an iconic boss too. Why'd you have to do Azshara dirty like that? Hey here, top 10 Blizzard employees win. I'll do it as soon as you make regular uploads. You know, so never. Hey, you know, that could be another thing synonymous with never. You know, if I don't want to do something, I can just say, hey, I'll do it as soon as Kakio starts uploading regularly. You know, because it's never going to happen. You know, and it's a synonymous with never. So yeah, that's when. Kakio is my favorite Blizzard employee. I'm sure Blizzard would love Kakio if he uploaded regularly. His definitely seems like the kind of channel they would go out of their way to partner with. So many, there's like 3. I love fights. What are you talking about? Let's see. So in Azshara, they have the charging your necklace mechanic, which requires you to run out of line of sight. They have the dispels, which require you to run out of line of sight in order to dispel them. They have the arcane explosion bomb thing, which requires you to run out of line of sight in order to avoid it. They have the twins at the beginning, who require them to be out of line of sight, otherwise they get a buff. And I think there's one more that requires... No, I think that's it. I think it's just those 4 mechanics that require line of sight. I don't really count the spear, but because sure, you have to like position yourself, but that's not really a line of sight mechanic. And there's also the compel. It makes it easier if you're able to like line of sight, you know, because they have to run around a pillar, but it's not required or even optimal. But you're right. Yeah, so there's 4 line of sight mechanics. When usually, if there's a line of sight mechanic, there's 1. And it's like, what the hell? 4 mechanics? That's basically an entire boss fight for anything other than a final boss who has like a million different mechanics. It's ridiculous. You know, if I ever make an updated video on the top 10 worst raid fights, you know, Azshara might make a spot on that list. The necklace, you don't need to be line of sight. I mean, you don't need to be line of sight. Doing the mechanic is going to guarantee a line of sight, though. Like, you can't do the mechanic while always being in range of the boss unless they literally move the boss with you. It's a line of sight mechanic. Like I said, there are ways to avoid it if you really don't want to break line of sight, but it's basically a line of sight mechanic. Because you have to go out of your way in order to position her in a way so that people don't get out of line of sight whenever they're charging up the little things. Where do you guys tank the boss? At your mom's house. Got him. Where the hell am I supposed to go? Up here? The chat is just Felplague and Kakio, basically. Do you think they're going to get new classes in the next expansion? I hope so. I really want another ranged class. I don't like melee. So the fact that they've added a whole bunch of new classes, except they're all melee, has been nothing but a complete disappointment to me. I was never excited about monks or demon hunters. Because it's like, oh boy, another non-healing melee class. I only ever play ranged and healing classes. That means I literally don't give a shit. You know, I found for this little daily right here, if you try to jump in the middle, there's a good chance it'll just push you back and not actually give you credit. But if you just jump to the side, you'll always get credit and it won't ever push you back, even if it's currently like doing the geyser thing. A little life hack, if you will. I was a little bit too far away that time. And Dressfar is really good, mate. What? Whenever I do Blackwater Behemoth, I always hope no one pees in the pool. Why not? That's the best part. Whenever I go to the public pool, I make sure to accidentally drink in the water. Usually you have to pay like $30 a bottle for that online. Just made this last night. River Tank line of sight is never an issue for people charging the necklace. Bullshit, Fell Plague. You also have a mythic guild, so you guys are actually, you know, probably more coordinated on this kinds of things. You probably downed a jar enough times where you have it optimized. Gosh, Fell Plague, you just cannot handle being wrong about everything, can you? Man, you could not be more wrong if you tried. And I'm sure you're trying very hard right now. Ooh, battery. How many mana pearls do I have? Thoughts on Titan Forging? I have complicated thoughts on it. I don't hate it as much as other people do, but I also don't staunchly defend it either. Because, like, on one hand, Titan Forging can absolutely make some of your gear feel irrelevant. Because, like, look at the gloves I'm wearing right now. I got these from doing a world quest, like, a week ago. And they were better than the gloves I had from, like, heroic, whatever the hell it was, from the last raid tier. And it's like, how are these world quest gloves better than what I had on from a heroic raid from the previous tier? It's like, that just kind of feels like, eh. But on the other hand, Titan Forging makes it so, if I have to run with a friend in, like, normal mode, where I don't actually need any of the gear, there's the chance that I'll get a really good upgrade. And that actually makes it so, you know, I don't feel like I'm wasting my time, because, hey, there is a chance I can get a good upgrade. So there are positives and negatives to it. It's just, you know, I don't really agree that the negatives outweigh the positives, but I don't think the positives necessarily negate the negatives either. I think it's a good system for now for incentivizing doing old content with people. Because, you know, at least you can get an upgrade. But I would definitely be open for them to experiment with other ways to do that. But I honestly can't think of any. Benthic gear? I like Benthic gear. I don't have it on right now, but I usually swap to my Benthic. Oh, I should probably upgrade this. It increases my damage against, whatchamacallit, aberrations by 3%. And 2 of the bosses in Ajara are aberrations. And one of them is like one where I'm definitely trying to pull out as much damage as possible. So I just swap to it whenever I'm fighting the aberration bosses. And then I just swap back over to my much better 440 necklace. Thing. Other one, only one. The other does have aberration ads, though. There's only one aberration boss? No, there's two of them. Ugh. Well, yeah, but you might get a really good upgrade mythic rate. Imagine that fat 4-7 eye level, but if they cap the eye level again, though, I don't know. I think it's more of a complicated issue. I don't wholly like, when it comes to store mounts, I don't give a shit. I think they're fine. I own all of them. But when it comes to Titan forging, I think it's a little bit more of a complicated issue than a more cut and dry store mount. You're either for or against them. And I'm definitely for them. Whereas I wouldn't say I'm totally for Titan forging, though. Here's the thing with store mounts. The main argument for store mounts against them is that WoW has a subscription, so they shouldn't try to make money in any other ways. And I just fundamentally don't agree with that argument. And that is what all anti-store mount arguments are based on. Like, under the assumption that that is a true statement, and then they argue from there. Whereas I don't agree with that at all. And I've never seen a good argument for it. Other than just them calling companies greedy. It's like, yes, companies exist to make money. That's never going to convince me. Unless you're able to, somehow prove that it's bad, and I don't think that's the case. I think the Blizzard store model is the most fair I've ever seen out of all the other video games I play. Time to go over to Mechagon. Oh shit, they fixed it. Zakil used to be humanoid. Zakil's the main reason I have this belt. I always swap it to him whenever I'm facing him, because Shadow is like my time to shine. When I go that fight as Shadow, I'm always number 1 DPS. But I try to be number 1 by like a gigantic margin. Because obviously they send me down to get the haste buff. It's not even fair, even to the other classes that go down with me. But I try to make like the leaderboards. And it's so hard. So many people play Shadow. It's so hard to rank when, all the best players in the world are also playing your spec. Because, the best DPS class in a genre is Shadow Priest, and one of the 2 best healers is Disc Priest, and those are the 2 classes I play. So I can't ever get even close on the rankings, because all of the best players in the world are playing those 2 specs, and I'm definitely not one of the best players in the world. I have Carpal Tunnel in one of my hands. I am severely gimped in how well I can play. I need to use an add-on in order to do Zakul, because I can't click that fast. Only thing that bothers me about the store mount is they shouldn't be higher res, better animated. The mounts you get from in-game content, like some of the wavefront mounts, are a bit rough. I think if you're gonna pay real money for them, they should at least be better quality than the mounts in the game. That being said, there's pretty good mounts in the game as well. So I don't really see that as a good argument either. But I at least don't completely discount it, like the whole, they're just doing it to make money. It's like, yeah, of course they're trying to make money. They're a company. If you're not trying to make money, then you're not a company, you're a charity. The argument is that they put more effort into designing store mounts than endless recolors in game. I can see that. If I was running a company, I would definitely put more effort into the store mounts than, the mounts that you can get in the game. Again, I don't really see that as a bad thing, though. It just seems like good business sense. I can understand that argument, though. You know, if you are someone who cares very deeply about mounts, and you see that all of the best mounts in the game are store mounts, you're like, damn it. I don't think that's the case. You know, I think there are definitely some good mounts you can get in-game that aren't on the store. However, basically all of the store mounts look good, and, you know, the good regular mounts in the game are not as plentiful. It's just there are vastly more mounts in the game than there are store mounts, you know, ones you can obtain in-game. And since, you know, there's a high pool of mounts that are just nowhere near as detailed as the store mounts. Like, even some of the best mounts in the game that you can get in other places are definitely not as detailed as the store mounts. Yeah, I can totally see it from that angle. That's a pretty decent argument. Counter argument for my own personal opinions. I don't really care about how the mounts look. So that's not a big deal to me. That's definitely not going to be a deal breaker for me specifically. But yeah, I can totally see why that would be for more, you know, hardcore mount collectors. Here, why do you make reading mod posts in here a priority? Blah blah blah. It's because they pop out to me. You know, whenever I see a mod post, it's like in a brighter color, and it's just, you know, at a glance, it's easier to read. You know, and there's a good chance I don't have to pre-screen their question, you know, in case they're trying to trick me into saying, like, a bad word. There is a 333, that was a frog mount. I love that frog mount. It's like one of my favorites. You know, god damn it. No, don't kill me. We don't care, Copper Nerd. Wow, this guy is a shield. God, I wish. I wish Blizzard would pay me to do these kinds of things. Instead, unfortunately, I just kind of draw my own conclusions based on my own personal research and experience, and I don't take very much I don't put very much credence into other people's opinions on these kinds of things. Whereas I know some people who don't like forming their own opinions and will only have an opinion on something if someone else shares it. Person won't ever pay for money for store mounts. I don't begrudge people paying their own money for some silly little mount. I just wish the in-game stuff was good looking. That's all. Yeah, that's a fair argument. I can't really fault that. Actually, I have a shit ton of high-res underwater mounts with unique models. I'd say there are probably more mounts in game than there are higher res on the store. You know, I'm sure there are, in just like the large quantities of it. But when it comes to the store mounts, they are definitely like more detailed. Because like if I hop on the Alabaster Thunderhawk, this thing right here, even though I'm playing at like low graphics, it's definitely like, if you look really close at it, it has much more details on it. Everything is pretty precise. When it flies, it has like little gold flitterings on it. You can even see like little cracks in its wings from the stone. And its tail too, it's incredibly detailed. And if I were to get on like a high-res one you can get in-game, this one, in comparison, really bad example. This one's pretty good too. Here, let me hop on the Dark Moon Digiroll. This one's pretty detailed too. Never mind. I'm just kind of finding things that don't really make my point. Let me hop on this one. This one's pretty good too. Let me hop on the Dread Raven. This was from the Warlords of Draenor Collector's Edition. This one doesn't seem any more detailed than the Corrupted Dreadhawk. If anything, they look exactly the same. Let me hop on. Ooh, this is super detailed. You know what? You got this one for free as well. Let me hop on this thing. Okay, this thing's awesome. I love this mount. It's pretty detailed. Let me hop onto one of the most detailed. This one is a pretty detailed store mount. You know, I think the frog is more detailed than this. You know, actually looking at the mounts, the store mounts are not that much more detailed than the ones they give you in game. Like, this one is amazing. You know, one of the ones they give you for the class trials? I love this mount. It's so majestic, and there's 3 different colors for it, and when you fly it even has like little wings on the back of it that glow. Okay, let me see if I can find a store mount. Okay, so Hogris is a pretty detailed store mount. Let me kill him real quick. God damn it, you stupid bitch. Put that up as soon as I use my Azurite trait on you. Okay, so Hogris is a really detailed store mount. Like when it moves, little coins come out from the piggy bank on his back. It's kind of hard to see though, especially since I play it like low graphics. Yeah, like little coins pop out. It has all these little bags and stuff. And it even has 2 little wings. And then let's hop onto one they give you in game that has lots of detail in comparison. Oh, I can't mount it when I'm in combat. I really wish the Hippogriff was high res. You know, it's not a fair comparison to compare the Alabaster, you know, Stone Griffin mount to one of the default ones. Because those are the default mounts. Those are like the first ones they ever put into the game. Of course, they're not going to be as high quality as the other ones. So I'm trying to compare it to like other BFA era mounts. So let me find a BFA era mount that they give you in game. And let's see if it's more detailed than, see, this one has a bag on its back. It only has a couple of bags. You know, it doesn't have any coins that fall out. It definitely can't fly. It has less accessories on it than the pig. But overall, I think the quality is still pretty good, and it's a unique model too, and it's one you get in-game. You know, and the Dark Moon thing, this is a unique model too. It's pretty good. It's one you get in-game. The Dread Raven too. Same with this one. I love this mount. It's pretty neat. It's a unique model. It's one you get in-game. It doesn't have very many accessories on it though. You know, I think that's the only difference between the store mounts, is they have more little accessories on them. But then I look at the frog mount, and this one has lots of accessories on it too. It has about as many as Hogris, who I think has probably the most amount of accessories. And like the Iron Sky Reaver, the only thing complicated about him is those little like flames on his back. Like, you know, it shoots little flames when he flies. That's a cool little effect. So I think that's the only difference between store mounts and regular mounts, is they give them a little bit more accessories. And it's really not that noticeable. But it is true. They do have a little bit more accessories on them than normal. Not all of them, though. I'm only looking at mounts with accessories. This one just changes colors, which I guess counts as an accessory. Because, like, this one changes colors, and so does... oh, I love this one, too. Hey, this one has less accessories on it than the frog. This one has a little cloud that appears underneath it when it flies. It is a very detailed mount too, and it's a store mount. This one, I don't really care for this one very much. It's a pretty basic bitch model. I don't think there's really anything special about it other than its unique model. Oh, its eyes glow. That's pretty neat. And so do its wings. You know, I've never actually looked at them too closely before. The only real difference is, like, with the store mounts, is they add more bells and whistles to them. You know, they give them, like, a little special effect. you know, in addition to giving them unique models, but there's also so many unique models they just add to the game normally. And there's definitely more unique models in the game than there are, you know, store mounts. It is still true, though. You know, they've definitely put more effort into adding those bells and whistles than they do a normal mount. But man, I cannot imagine. Like, these do not look super better than regular mounts. You know, I was totally on board with the whole, you know, store mounts look better argument. I don't think that's the case, though. Like, I was hopping on the store mounts to try to say, like, yeah, you see, these do look obviously better than regular mounts. And it's like, not really. A lot of the regular mounts that you can get in-game look pretty good. I think the main difference is that all of the store mounts have just more, like a special effect to them. Which, you know, I can just move the goalpost a little bit and say, very few mounts you can get in-game have special effects, but basically all of the store mounts have one. Because, like, this one changes colors. Hogris, he, like, has coins that fall out of his bag. A lot of the other ones have, like, a cloud that appears underneath them. Or, like, you know, little dust particles and stuff. Which is definitely something people would pay money for in other games. But man, I don't think those little things really deserve all the hate they get. Nazjakar Ray Recolor seems pretty boring though. Same with the tall books. Skullstriver is actually a good example of a letdown from BFA content at least. Oh yeah, the argument that they take things that they would have given to you in the game and they give it to you in the store. Yeah, see, that's another fair argument against it. But, you know, counterexample. They do give you so many other mounts in the game that it definitely overshadows the small amount that are sold back to you as a store mount. It doesn't negate it, though, but if I was to give it, like, you know, a scale of 1 to 10 about how important that is, it would definitely be a less than 5. Because they more than make up to it with the mounts they do allow you to get in-game. Yeah, I don't think the hate is really justified. But I'm also not going to completely dismiss their arguments because, hey, they do have some legitimate points. It's kind of the key. I put in a bunch of effort. Farm Heroic Ray to get really cool mount, but then someone can just buy a mount that looks just as good, if not better. Kind of. I mean, sure. If this was like the early versions of the game, when it was really hard to get a good looking mount, but the game has been out for so long that everyone has cool looking mounts, that no one thinks that anyway. I don't think that's a realistic argument to make when the game has been out as long as WoW has. You know, like, it's going on its 15-year anniversary. If a new player comes in, they see someone on a cool-looking mount. I don't think the first thing they think is, wow, you must have, you know, did like an amazing thing for it or something. It's like, oh, look, another cool-looking mount. I've seen at least 50 of those since I've left the starting zone. What? Some of those were store mounts? I would have never have known if you hadn't told me. Because they all look the same to me. I think that's more realistically what it's like. Sucks though if you pay for your preferred mount though. Cool thing about store mounts. If they put one out that you really like, you can get it in-game by, you know, using gold and stuff. Which is not the case for other games. Like, they have stuff on the store which you literally cannot obtain unless you spend real money. And I think people, like, discredit the fact that you can spend gold to get them a little bit too much. Like, they always say, oh, but someone had to pay money for it. And again, that goes under the assumption that, you know, a company trying to make money is bad. That a company that has a MMO subscription shouldn't sell stuff at all. And I don't think that argument, I don't put any credit in that argument. So, if I completely discount that argument, then the fact that somebody paid money for it is irrelevant. And it goes to the point where you can pay gold to get it, which is not the case in other games. I play this one mobile game. It's really pay to win. And some of the best equipment possible, you know, like, in-game, we have this little thing right here, the pocket-size computation device. And this is a really good card. You know, the one that gives you the little laser beam to kill things. It's so good, people are still using it at, like, the highest levels of Mythic. And in my mobile game, an item like that would exist on the cash shop, and only during a limited time event, and the only way to get it would be to spend at least $500, you know, for the items needed in order to get it. So everyone who had this would be able to, like, you know, one-shot you in PvP. And if you wanted to try it as well, you'd have to spend at least $500. You know, hey, you want to maybe throw $100 into the game to try to get it? No. $100 is like a tiny amount. You're not going to get this one trinket unless you spend at least $500. Do you want to get it through in-game means? No. It's a limited time event, and you can only use currency from that limited time event, and it's impossible to get enough through free-to-play measures, so you have to spend at least $500. And if you don't spend $500 during this one limited time event, then you literally just don't get the trinket. And those things just don't exist in Blizzard games, and I love it. Like, you know, in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, the card game I play a lot, if you want a card and it's from a pack, you have to buy packs to get it. There is no other way to get it. So you just have to spend, you know, like $100 to buy all the packs in order to hope you get that one card. In Hearthstone, you can disenchant cards and then just craft the one you need. Systems like that don't exist in other games. Like, the fact that you can spend gold to get it is amazing. It's actually really good. It's consumer friendly. And the fact that people just completely discount it is, I think, just really stupid. Will you be doing weekly Classic videos? I'll be doing more Classic videos, you know, with the launch of Classic, the normal. But I do have a video plan that's not Classic related. Ooh, I need to open up chests. And the noobs will never know how much of a badass I am when riding around in my ivory hawk that loves TBC models. I mean, the thing is, like, there's a lot of really cool mounts you can get from raids. And most people know that you're just kind of farming them weekly with no effort. And there's definitely more mounts like that in the game than there are store mounts. It's easier to farm gold IRL than it is the game anyways. Sometimes I'd rather just pay the price and move on with my life instead of just grinding away. That's true, if you don't know how to make gold efficiently. But that requires, you know, more knowledge. Stuff like you'd have to learn a lot and then experiment a lot, and you need a good startup anyway in order to do it. So you're right, you know, working minimum wage at McDonald's is faster than trying to earn the gold the old-fashioned way. But the fact is, you don't have to spend money. If you like to just play the game a lot, you can totally get the money required to get all the store mounts, which is amazing because that's not a standard in the video game industry. Just got really excited for the Blue Fox mount with wings, though I hate for liking the mount because it was a store mount. Hey, just get it. Who cares? I think the huge hate for it is completely overblown anyway. It's definitely an unpopular opinion, though. Biggest problem with store mounts are too easy to get. I see mounts almost as rideable status symbol. I mean, is farming a raid for like 5 minutes once a week really that hard either? It's like, hey, I got lucky and finally got Kel'Thas to drop the Phoenix mount. Man, I'm glad I put more effort and time into this than, you know, just grinding out 300,000 gold to buy the store mount. Gosh, so much more effort for this mount. Yeah, I don't think it really holds up. For some mounts, sure, but the majority of mounts are easy as hell to get. You have to admit that. Are you going to do a Villain's Corner on Activision? I mean, I'm not going to say Activision's a good company. I'll just leave it at that. I am saying the Blizzard business models in the few Blizzard games I play are actually pretty great when compared to a lot of the other shit I play. I don't have to worry about spending $500 in order to get a crucial piece of equipment. And instead, the worst thing we have are store mounts, which you can get with in-game gold. It's like, oh my god. I wish all the games I played had this kind of business model. That would be amazing. Have you weighed in on the hate for that add-on? You know, low-key, I'll totally use that add-on. If they don't break it. Like, I'm all for classic WoW and no changes, but, you know, when it comes to add-ons, that's a completely different story. You know, acknowledging the fact that if the add-on became widespread use, it would be a detriment not to use the add-on. So I can understand why people don't like it completely. I personally like the looking for group system. I like looking for raid, and I don't see those as negatives, which is what a lot of people who like classic WoW think it is. Like, that is a huge rallying point where they'll just say LFR's bad, as if it's fact. I watch the classic WoW people. I know how much contempt they have for the looking for group tools. And I know how they just mention them as if they're bad, as if it's a foregone conclusion, which is something I just fundamentally don't agree with. So the add-on, I think, you know, I'll totally use it. I don't give a shit about the, you know, perceived community and finding groups and that kind of thing. I never have. I never liked it. But I am definitely all for the whole, you know, none of those things added to the Gaming Classic, because I'm definitely committed to the whole museum aspect of Classic WoW. It exists as like showing how the game was back in the time, as a perfect museum, so that you can actually go to the Classic WoW client and see how things used to work back then. So if they add too many things or take too many things away or make it too convenient, that completely ruins it. But the add-on is a completely different discussion. A discussion that does relate pretty heavily to it. You know, it really comes to the point of like, what is the museum? You know, if everything in the game is exactly the same, but you have an add-on which incorporates modern systems into the game, is it really a museum if everyone's using it? It's like, you know, under those situations, I think, yeah, that's actually a pretty nuanced discussion to have, with no cut or dry answers. It's a bad system for Classic. Also, they said they will ban those type of add-ons. It's a bad system for Classic, and the fact that it ruins the museum philosophy of it. You know, if you don't care about the museum and your version of Classic is literally just the gameplay itself and the game, then that should have no way in on a looking for group feature add-on. What do you think about the PvP system and the effort reward? I don't PvP. I don't have any opinions on it. I don't even actually know how it works. Worst part of LFG is the teleportation, in my opinion, because it makes the world aspect of the game. True. Like, in Cataclysm, they experimented with this thing where you had to have discovered the location of the instance in order to queue up for it. And it seemed like their way of like making sure people knew how to get to the entrance. But then that was just kind of annoying. So they got rid of it. But you're right. I need to kill more spiders. The real question, though, is why Lucid Nightmare is not a flying mount. Hey, they can always change non-flying mounts into flying mounts. They did that with the Moose mount. Bugs, lots of fun. Ooh, what's this? I want a medic bot. How do I get a medic bot? Anyone got lag too? Yeah, it looks like the stream was lagging for a little bit. Oops, sorry. Give me a second. Reload stream. Yeah, probably just reload the stream. In Canada Mop, I remember I used a website where people made raids for transmogs because cross server had come out. It was totally awesome. Everyone uses it to proceed expansion content. Right. The whole reason they added the looking for a group thing was because there was a really popular add-on that basically did it. So they just added it to the game baseline. And then they broke all the functions that allowed the old one to work. But what about PewDiePie collab where you're going to do it on Classic? Hey, PewDiePie wants to collab with little old me. I'd be all for it. This message lag out or you didn't see it, but you think they're going to do more stuff past next 40, either TBC or Classic Plus with all the new content? They actually asked him that in the Classic Cast, like, podcast they did yesterday. So S1 had two of the Blizz devs, I think like the main Classic WoW devs, on his podcast. And they asked him literally that exact question. And their answer was, you know, nothing to announce now, nothing official, but they're totally up to the idea of TBC or Classic Plus. And what they noted, like, after the interview was over, was like, you know, they said they were open to Classic Plus without immediately discounting it, which means there's definitely a possibility could happen if the interest is there. And of course, Classic Plus means content past Max 20, Max 40, or I mean. What Blizzard can take away from Classic is that some features of the class do well in the main game. Demand for the type of MMO there is, the RPG feeling of it. The thing with BFAs people have to remember is like all of these features that exist in the game are here because people asked for them. It can be hard to remember this, like if you do nothing but browse pro Classic WoW community pages or something like that. Because like I've been on the Classic WoW subreddit as an example, a small example. Classic WoW subreddit is by no means a indication of how everyone on the Classic WoW Bandcamp feel. But on the Classic WoW subreddit, it is just a gigantic, what's the word for it? It's just a huge circle jerk of the same ideas. There is no dissenting opinions. It's nothing but constant, like, Classic WoW is literally perfect. And if you try to insinuate that Classic WoW isn't literally perfect, let alone criticisms, those aren't allowed. Just saying that maybe some features aren't that great. They don't like that at all. They get really mad. And there is like no form of course of discussion for that. And in an environment like that, it's real easy to think, everything in Classic WoW is perfect and that everybody loves everything about it, which is not the case. Like, all of the changes that have been made to the game have been done because people have asked for them on a large scale. And obviously the people in a Classic WoW forum aren't going to acknowledge that changes that have been made have been because people wanted them. So, like, everything we have, this is basically Blizzard giving people what they want. And the thing is, sometimes you shouldn't give people what they want. I think that's the lesson that Classic WoW has really taught us. Is that, a lot of those inconveniences make the conveniences feel better, but if everything's convenient, then, who gives a shit? Warlock's not being able to summon people from inside the instance was dumb. It's basically, an echo chamber. That's the word I was looking for. I mean, like, most fan communities like that are echo chambers. Classic WoW, I think, is on a different level, though. Like, the echo chamber going on in the Classic WoW subreddit is, like, one of the biggest echo chambers I've ever seen. But that's mainly because I don't follow politics subreddits, so, maybe that's par of the course for other things. When it comes to video game communities, though, specifically, I've never seen a bigger echo chamber than the one that exists in the Classic WoW community. Strange on paper, I really like BFA, I'm just insanely bored of it somehow. Nostalgia is a sensitive thing. No, I totally get it. Like, here's the thing, because I'm also looking forward to Classic WoW. And I think part of the charm of it is all of the inconveniences. Like, it creates a... I don't know what an English word for it is, but in anime they have this thing called gap moe, which I think applies very well to it. Basically, in anime, gap moe is like if there's a delinquent, for example, someone who's part of a gang or something. He's usually just like a huge asshole to everyone, but he's really kind to animals, and sees like a kitten on the side of the road in the rain, and they'll stop to feed him and give him their umbrella. The gap in character is an attractive thing. People like that kinds of thing. It's great. And I don't know if there's like an English word for it, but that really describes Classic WoW pretty well. Like, there's so many inconveniences about it that when you do like progress, you find something good, you find something uninconvenient, you get an upgrade, it just feels better because of the gap. And in BFA, there isn't really a low gap. It's basically like everything's easy and convenient. Oh, I just noticed that's not an NPC, that's a real person. They're just constantly fixing it. I was like, why won't it let me attack it? Oh, fuck. Because it's a gnome. Of course I wasn't able to. These things are annoying. I tried just to destroy them so I can fly away, but... if there's someone over there constantly fixing it, I'm not going to be able to do it. People modding Skyrim to make it harder. Yeah, like, sure, there are challenges you can make in order to make the game harder yourself. But there's this thing that's very well known within the game making community, for developers, is like players will always choose the path of least resistance. So if you make something in the game that is the most optimal DPS spec, for example, but it just requires you to use one button and nothing else, everybody's going to take that spec and use it. Even if it is the most boring thing in the world to do. And it's going to cause everyone to think the game is boring, because it's like the game is just pushing one button. It's like, no, it's literally just that one class and spec that does that thing. Every other class has to push like 15 buttons, for example. But since that's the most optimal way to do the best DPS, that's what everybody is going to do. And that is going to form the popular opinion of how people view the game. So, if by default the game is easy, that's how everybody's going to do it, even if there are ways to make it harder. And that's what game designers have to do. They have to balance around the default because they know people will always choose the path of least resistance. If they make a fun spec and it does like 1% less damage than everything else, no one will play it. because it's not optimal. And people don't like to play unoptimally on a large scale. There are obviously some people who like to, but you don't build games around outliers. Not sure if they ever heard, but what's your opinions on the LFG controversy for Classic? I literally just talked about that for like 10 minutes. Basically, I don't care. It's definitely more complicated than that, but the gist of it is like, you know, if it exists in the game, I'm probably going to use it. If they ban it, I would totally understand why. Shadowbolt spam, yeah, exactly. If something's the best, people are going to do it, even if it's boring. And then they'll just complain about how boring the game is. That's just the definition of millennials. That's just the definition of people. You know, as someone who went to college for psychology, I feel like I understand these kinds of things perfectly. I am a complete expert when it comes to how people think and interact with everything in the world, and there is no room for error. And is the girlfriend in question Japanese? What girlfriend? Who has a girlfriend? Hiro, do you have a girlfriend? No. Not only do I not have a girlfriend, I have never had one. So, you know, hashtag relatable. Am I right, fellow gamers? I'm sure everyone here relates. It's those people who say ret pallies will never get raid spots because GPS is bad, because it's what people have been saying for years. I mean, the damage numbers also show it too. Like, I was looking at the damage numbers for it, and ret pallies, like, not only are they bad, they are like garbage tier. Warrior tanks can do more damage than ret pallies. It's really bad. I think my healing disc priest could do more damage than a ret pally. Pog, he's one of us. PP hands. PP. I know it's Pepe, but I like to call it. I read it as that immediately. Most people choose the path least resistance. I'm almost amazed people who are not. I kind of wish that was me because I think that would be more fun if things... Yeah, that's definitely me. Like, that's how I enjoy playing the game with weird gimmicky shit. That's kind of like why I was so happy with the Disc Priest. It just happened to be coincidentally that Disc Priest is also really good, in addition to it being really unique and fun to play. That's not usually the case though. Like in Yu-Gi-Oh, the reason my channel was successful at first, or, you know, got notoriety, was because I would only play gimmick decks. And by definition, gimmick decks are obviously not viable, they're gimmicks. But they're a lot of fun to play. And a great thing about them for YouTube, gimmick decks are much more fun to watch than they are to play. Because it's fun to see them do their gimmicky things against good decks. But when you play the deck, you realize, like, oh shit, this isn't viable. I'm going to lose more than half my games. So it's not fun to lose, but it is a lot of fun to win with a gimmick deck. And in order to win with a gimmick deck, you have to lose a lot first. So that's why watching videos on gimmick decks is much better than actually playing them. And that's how the channel like saw success in the first place. Was because I only ever played gimmick decks because I don't care about the meta. In World of Warcraft it's a little bit different though. You know, like if I'm raiding and I'm doing a collaborate effort with everyone else, I do want to play optimally, you know, in order to help the team down the boss in an efficient manner. If anything, it's a little bit selfish to play suboptimally just because it's more fun. But, you know, if your class, kind of like how Priest have 2 healing specs, Disc and Holy, available to them. And sometimes people ask me, how come I don't play Holy? And it's more of a, you just don't understand how good Disc is. That's usually my go-to. I've had to explain many times that Disc is not only viable, but on many occasions it's better than Holy. Even with like the complete dominance of Disc Priest right now, I would still have to explain it. Actually, I had to do it a couple weeks ago. Someone was asking why I played Disc, and I was like, have you not heard? Did you not see, Method down Mythic Ajar with 2 Disc Priests? Like, how do I still have to explain this to people? My god. And the reason I have to explain it so much is because Disc Priests have a really high skill ceiling. So, if you're just an average player doing average things and you have a Disc Priest in your group, there's a good chance they're not going to be, really good with the Disc Priests. So they're going to perform really mediocre. And Disc Priests are good if you're good. If you're medium or bad, they're not good. They're kind of mediocre or bad. Which is not the case for like other healers, like a Resto Druid. You can be a bad player and still pull out great healing numbers of the Resto Druid. Not the case at all as a Disc Priest. Disc Priest is so fun to play. Yeah, they're like the most fun spec to play. When BFA came out, everyone was complaining about how boring their classes was. I was like, I'm sure that's true for some classes. Not the Priest, though. Like, Disc Priest is some of the most fun I've ever had playing this game. Even the BFA version of it. And Shadow is also a lot of fun, but, I've only ever played Shadow with Essences. I've heard before they released the Essence for Shadow, it wasn't as fun. Because there's this essence for the Shadow that allows you to stay in higher stacks of Void form, which gives you like lots of haste, which makes your rotation actually feel alive. And without it, it's not as fun because you're leaving Void form all the time. So the main time I've been playing Shadow was when I've had that essence available to me. And a lot of the Shadow Priests agree that the spec didn't become fun in this expansion until that essence was released with 8.2. Top damage and healing every time is Disc. Yeah, Disc is good, and I still have to explain to people, no, it's not a bad spec. It's actually really good right now. It is, one of the highest performing specs. And it's like if you, are skeptical, if you think I'm lying to you, like literally just go to Warcraft logs, look up the fights. I always found Resto Druid kind of difficult. I just use it as an example. I don't actually know how Resto Druids play in BFA. That was just the case when I used to play Resto back in Cataclysm. Priest is the only single class I've not leveled past 30 since the game launched. You're making me want to roll one. I do spout lots of great things about Priest and everything. Priest, for me, are definitely the most boring class to level with. Like, my god, are they terrible. They're not fun at all to level up with. They're not fun at all to do world content with. When 8.2 launched and they had all those dailies with Nazjatar and Mechagon, I just kept being reminded about how much it fucking sucked to play a Priest for solo content. You may notice I'm on a healing spec right now doing World Quest, and that's not just because I'm too lazy to swap over to Shadow. It's because I can kill stuff faster on my Disc Priest than as a Shadow Priest. It's really bad. When it comes to raiding, though, my god, is it fun. And that's all that matters. Most people, define everything about the game based on how their specs perform in raids. And in raiding, Disc Priest and Shadow is tons of fun, and I'm glad I play a Priest. When it comes to leveling, though, and doing world content, I really wish I was playing a different class. I wish I could play a different class in order to do this stuff for my Priest. Because it's so slow. Like, my Disc Priest kills mobs faster than my Shadow Priest, and my Disc Priest doesn't kill mobs fast. Ugh. I think my Holy Priest actually kills stuff faster than Disc. I just don't like playing Holy. Because Holy Priest is basically just spam smite. Here, which race do you think is best for hunters and horde? Depends. Do you mean BFA or for classic WoW? If it's BFA, probably a Zandalari. If it's classic WoW, then it's a troll. Hey, it's trolls both ways. What do you know? You know, because I'm not playing a Zandalari troll because I particularly like them or anything. I'm playing them because I got a chance to re-roll, and I wanted to pick whichever class had the best racials. Which is definitely the Zandalari trolls. Not by very much, though. Like, the margin of error is pretty tiny. All the other classes perform within, like, 0.5%. Zandalari trolls are just optimal by a tiny amount. Yeah, like to the point where literally just play any class you want. They all have DPS racials. It's not like vanilla WoW where literally, you know, only trolls have something that increase your damage. For hunters, best way to go is Maghar? Really? I didn't know that. Then you're playing Shadowwrong. Who like Legion's Arms Warriors? I'm pretty strong, bro. But wanding things is kind of boring. Yep. You know, I made my video about I played through every class in the Classic WoW beta, and I talked about which ones I like the most. But I made a ranking system for them. And in the ranking system, I talked about which ones were the best and the worst. And I was inconsistent in that ranking system, which is my fault. But in this system, I put it on like which ones I thought were good and which ones I thought were fun. And I interacted both of them together. And I gave Priest a low rating on the list, like almost at the bottom, because they weren't very fun to play. Whereas I put other classes on the race, I put other classes on the list at higher spots because they were good, with no mention about how fun they were. And those two things are not mutually exclusive. You know, a class can be very efficient but not fun, and priests fit into that bill because of their wanding spec. It's not fun at all to play, but it's definitely efficient. And I was just kind of confusing the two together. They blended together in my mind, and I didn't even think about it. Orcs have DPS buffs too. I've heard priest leveling is pretty smooth. It's not fun though. Not at all. Especially BFA priest. You gotta kill stuff like very slowly. I'd much rather like run up and just, you know, hit it a few times like on my demon hunter and it dies, instead of having to ramp up my dots. I've heard Zandalaris have a bad racial though. You know, that could be true for some classes. I was just kind of saying, since, you know, priests have good racials for them, that it would probably translate to hunters as well. It's probably not the case. Trolls are the best race for hunter, period. What was most fun? The most fun was the shaman, surprisingly. Because everything was based around level 15. So at level 15 specifically, the shaman was the most fun, in my opinion. I'm pretty sure it's different at different levels, though. I need to use the restroom real quick. Question is, Disc, you just Shadow Word Pain and Shield? I don't even need to use Shadow. I don't ever need to use a heal on myself. Oh no, I forgot to change one of my trinkets out. The Leviathan lure is so much better for leveling or quest content. But not as bad as here makes it out to be. Hopefully it's a personal preference. Wait, what? For leveling a priest in BFA? I mean, I'm definitely exaggerating a little bit to make a point. When it comes to killing things, other classes will probably kill them a few seconds faster than a priest. You'll still be able to kill them to a level and efficient manner. It's just, in my opinion, slower than other classes. But it's not slow by a lot. Otherwise, Blizzard would do something about it. I just wish it was faster, because other classes are faster. Die. Well, a Leviathan lure immediately, huh? Did all those mods leave? Yeah, they probably got bored of me talking about stupid shit. I'm not even sure if half my mods even watch my videos even more. I'm pretty sure they just show up to streams out of obligation. They feel as though they have to show up and watch because they're mods, not that they really want to. If you catch my drift. I need to collect treasures. I should also be doing some of these quests. Some experiments over here? Okie dokie. Shamans do healing in Classic, right? Yep, shamans are basically healers in Classic. Unless you want to play suboptimally, of course. You don't want to be suboptimal, do you? Oh my god, there's a lot of these. I might actually have to heal myself for this pool. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to die. Unless I pop some heals. I forgot there's a stacking poison dot on this. Ah, no! I need to kill one! Holy crap, I need to use pain suppression. This poison hurts. Let's see if I can kill that with the Holy Nova. Holy Nova does no damage. Oh shit, it's up to 12 stacks. And then I can use my racial ability. And here, do you think you could do a top 10 items put in the game to mess with data miners? Maybe actually. There is enough for a top 10 list on that. I'll have to save that for later. Because that fits criteria. When it comes to making good top 10s, like the list itself has to be something that people would realistically want to know the answer to. That's what makes people watch them on such a large scale. Whereas, you know, if I made a top 10 on my top 10 favorite mounts, that's not going to invite people to watch the video unless they're like part of a really niche audience of people who, one, either care about my opinions on things, which is not very many people, or two, people who just really, really love mounts and like to see other people's favorites. And that's like not a large enough audience to really, you know, be worth making a video about. But the one you did is a perfect example of a, you know, a good idea. It's definitely one I haven't done before, and I don't think it's been done by other people either. There's a rare on the map. Leveling a priest is alright with some PvP talents. I don't know about that. But I haven't tried it, so you might be right. I can't see any PvP talents that would make it that much easier. For Shadow, I mean. For Disc Priest, I can definitely think of one that would make it a lot easier. Not easier. Actually, I don't know if that talent would really work very much. Because you have Searing Light, which increases the damage of your smite by 15%. And it allows you to reduce the cooldown of your penance. But if you're waiting for a second penance to go off, That's already slower than another class could kill it. So sure, you'd probably be able to kill it like a second faster, but you're still killing it like 5 seconds slower than everything else. Hey here, are Frost Death Knights worth playing in PvP at all? I don't PvP, so I have no idea. What's this? What the hell? It won't... Is there a thing I have to do over here? Is there a quest I accepted over here? Would you like to use an energy cell to revive it? No? I don't know what the hell that is. So, there's this quest. I really wish these would get tracked on my map by default. It got turned off somehow, and I don't know how to turn it back on. Rescue 3 people. Ooh, another rare. Packed with Krendor's pointless thing, top 10 pointless things in WoW. Pointless things isn't really a good topic. Like, I know Krendor has a whole series on pointless top 10s, but it's not a successful series. Like, a few of them have done okay. I had actually had the idea to do something similar when he started doing his, all those years back. And, once he did his videos, I'm really glad I didn't do mine. I was like, huh, good thing he did it, so I wouldn't have to experiment and find out that this was not a good idea. Indian's Radiance is the best PvP talent. Instant Radiance. Which one's that? Damage of your smite. It's now instant cast and healing is increased by 250%. Is it the best? I was having a lot of fun with Trinity. 30-second long atonements was so much fun in Battlegrounds. Although, that was like the first time I did Battlegrounds as expansion, so I don't really know how the PvP talents work. I haven't tried them all. For Shadow, you get the instant cast Void Eruptions, which helps up the pace. Yeah, but like Shadow is balanced around being in Void form. So outside of Void form, you do very little damage, and a majority of your time killing stuff is spent outside of Void form. Because you have to account for travel time in between mobs, which usually drops Void form. Unless, of course, you're trying to be efficient and try to stay in Void form as much as possible. I don't quest in that way. I like to do things at a leisurely pace, and leisurely pace doesn't fit with Shadow. So I'm just constantly not in Void form. And I kill things very slowly. Of course, I found the best way is just to pull a whole bunch of shit with Misery and then AoE it down. Which, yeah, not half bad. I'd much rather be able to just kill things one-on-one real quickly, though. I love his series. It's so cozy to watch. It was a great idea because I personally loved it. Bam. Yeah, that's fine. When it comes to, the views and everything, not that great. But not everything is about the views. Kind of like the Factor Crap series. That doesn't get a lot of views, and yet I still do it. Same with, Villain's Corner. That doesn't get a lot of views, yet I still pay a lot of money in order to get those made. Having instant radiance keeps atonement on everyone, so all I like to do is cast radiance when their health is low, and then just DPS. Oh. I'm still thinking of Radiant. Like, when when Legion first came out, Radiance only affected 3 targets, but it didn't have a cooldown, so you could use it as much as you wanted. And the last time I took that PvP talent was when Radiance still worked that way. I forget Radiance actually affects 5 targets now. And has a cooldown to it. So that talent would work much better with the new Radiance. And that was not the first thought I had. I thought, oh, an instant heal on only 3 targets? That's not very good. How is that? Oh, that's right. It's 5 targets now, isn't it? Not only is it 5 targets now, but I use it all the goddamn time when I raid. I just didn't contextualize it with DPS, with PvP, I mean. Uh-oh, I missed Rust Feather. Void form hides pretty Mog. Yeah, it does. Bro, top 10 Ed Sheeran songs. He's the guy from Game of Thrones, right? I remember Alt-Shift-X constantly made fun of him. I didn't understand why, though. Ugh. I feel you, I just didn't think leveling was that bad. Man, that is legitimately surprising to hear. I just assumed everyone who played a priest and leveled with one would have the same opinion as me, as that they're terrible to level with. I didn't even consider people might enjoy it. And I honestly kind of don't believe you. I'm sure you did. There's no reason for you to lie about it. It's just that's how bad it is, in my opinion. As I think, of course it's bad. It's terrible. How could anyone think otherwise? It's like, oh, that is super surprising to hear. Huh. Be careful not to face my back against a cliff with these things. Spam an Undead Priest in Classic, most likely disc. Any tips for leveling / raiding? Oh god. Short answer, no. Find a good wand you like and become good friends with it. You're in for a long, tedious journey. Very tedious. Are you maining a priest in Classic? I don't even know what class I'm gonna play first in Classic. That's a problem for future me to think about. Can I play a paladin and still get a DPS spot in dungeons? In Classic WoW? Not unless you're playing with friends. Leveling through PvP discs is really fun, especially if you have 2 discs with similar... Yeah, I'm sure leveling as in PvP is more fun. When I say leveling, I specifically mean like questing out in the world content, not dungeons or PvP. But you're right, there is more ways to spice up your leveling process than just questing. Okay. I think I completed all the Mechagon stuff, right? No, there was some quest over here. I'm just gonna finish up Mechagon and then I'm gonna end the stream because I'm at the 2-hour mark and I only stream for 2 hours. I will say though, when Classic launches next week, I do plan on doing small little streams every now and then while I just level up. Mainly because I really want to play Classic, but I can't really justify spending too much time on it. And if I stream some of it, it can feel like I'm doing work. But not all of it, because it's more fun to play the game if you don't stream it. Playing WoW is always much more fun when you do it off a stream than when you do it on stream. Guess I'll take enchanting then. Now I'm torn between a shaman and a priest for classic. All classes. What item has the best flavor text in the game? Probably the Kodo mount that was never actually added to the game. It's one of like the few items in the game that was never added but was given flavor text. It didn't have flavor text when it was first added to the game files back in vanilla WoW. They gave it flavor text years later and they still never put it in the game, and I think it's hilarious. Living through PvP's disc, really fun. Phrasing, all classes. Will you play with classic graphics or the updated ones? I'm going to play in the best graphics I possibly can. Diablo or vibrators? Oh no, you said something else. I was wondering why that comment was hidden. It makes sense now. I came here to hear the coffin joke and eat my sandwich, and I'm all out of coffin jokes. You know, I totally would have told the coffin joke if someone asked me earlier. I'm about to end the stream, though, very soon. And the coffin joke is not something you tell real quick at the end of a stream. It's something that takes place in the middle of a stream, and you need at least 20 minutes to tell the joke. If you don't spend 20 minutes telling the coffin joke, then you're not actually telling the coffin joke. You're just telling a fake joke. Let's dispel that. Gear. You a whack bud. Naughty boy. But you never tell the coffin joke even when I ask. I mean, I tell it occasionally. I'm not going to tell it every single stream though. Coffin, I don't hear any coffin. I'll see myself out. Hey, someone knows the punchline to it. You're a dummy, whoever you are playing this game. Whoever I am. I'm surprised how you found this stream if you don't know who I am. People don't usually browse streams on YouTube. Bye, hero. See you, please recharge. I think I have one more tree to grow, and then I'm out of here. What time is it? 4:30? I should probably eat dinner. Maybe I can order my food now, while I fly over to this questing area. Here, do you unload a truck with sand? Is that a euphemism? Oh, how do you unload it with sand? How do you unload a truck of babies? I'll have you know, I used to be a big fan of dead baby jokes because of how shocking they are. People don't like it when you tell them though, so I kind of stopped. Boo 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 boo. 4:45 is the quickest? No, that's fine. Hero, did you go to university? I sure did. I went for psychology. Ooh, I earned points for my purchase. How old is Hero, though? I'll have you know, I turned 16 a couple of months ago. High school, am I right, fellow kids? Yeah, I can probably do this quest real quick, too. I just gotta rescue 3 people. Having a dark sense of humor is rough. I don't have a dark sense of humor. The only dark jokes I liked were the dead baby jokes. And that's it. I can't tell you why I like those jokes out of everything else, but they always got a good chuckle out of me. "16 and gone to college?" I know, right? Am I right, fellow kids? Fellow high schoolers? Us who are juniors? You're junior in high school at 16, right? Or sophomore? I think you can be either or. 'Cause I think senior is like 17 to 18, so junior would be 15 to 16. Yeah, that's what it is. Fellow juniors in high school. Gosh, one more year and then we get to be seniors. Am I right, fellow 16-year-olds? I can't wait to be a senior so I can call all of the freshmen freshies. The fuck? I wonder if people actually did that. Did anyone ever call freshmen freshies? Because that sounds so stupid. It sounds stupid enough to where it might actually be a thing. Did you sit with the emos or the jocks then? I mean, I myself was a starting member of the football team that was actually really good. So I was basically a jock myself. We didn't really have distinctions like that at school. I mainly just hung out with the kids who played Yu-Gi-Oh! During lunch because I would play Yu-Gi-Oh! With them. But I mean, once I was done playing Yu-Gi-Oh!, I'd go hang out with my actual friends. And most of them played sports too. Like, I would have loved to hang out with the Yu-Gi-Oh! Kids, but they were all, without exception, socially awkward. It's not very fun to hang out casually with someone who's socially awkward. So I would go hang out with my more socially normal friends. But I didn't have anything in common with them, so, you know, besides the fact that we all played sports. Like, not even the same sport. Most of the people I hung out with they wrestled. Like, I played football, and they were all wrestlers. Those are 2 different sports. So, it was fun when I got to finally leave high school and actually hang out with people who shared my same interests. And who weren't socially awkward. You're a nerd. You know it. Yeah, you know, despite being a nerd my whole life, I was never given any shit about it. Despite the fact that I also never actually hid the fact. I was very open about my hobbies. Turns out, though, if you have like a certain amount of confidence about yourself, and you're not socially awkward, people don't really care about your hobbies. I've just found that a lot of people who did share my hobbies also happen to be socially awkward, which probably, you know, they might have had more of the average upbringing that you would expect from someone with unconventional hobbies. Man, I got enough for another one? That was pretty quick. How many spare crates do I have? Wait, do I seriously have 20? Do I have enough to buy the thing? Or is it 40? Oh god, I hope it's 20. I'm only doing these so I can get the essence, the rank 3 essence for the protocol, which I don't even really need. Oh, it's fucking 30. Oh, damn it, I thought I had enough. Okay, I'm gonna go now. It looks like we have a couple of trolls in here. I have no idea where they came from. I assume someone who's not a fan of me must have linked my channel somewhere and said, go troll this person. Whatever, it's not a big deal. I'm gonna go now anyway. Goodbye, everyone.